I'm delighted to say that we're joined by Matt Henry, New Zealand fast bowler. First off, Matt, we've just come fresh from England. We're not feeling particularly fresh, where we covered the entirety of the India New Zealand series on talkSPORT 2, the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. Congratulations, an absolutely astonishing result. Just to our right, Neil Manthorp. Now, he is the man who knows such questions, but I put it to him that what New Zealand achieved in India was the greatest achievement in the history of Test cricket. And it's been about 3 weeks. He still hasn't come up with anything that comes close. So well done, and what a performance.
Oh, thank you very much. It's pretty surreal. I think as time goes on, I suppose really think about that series. It was pretty amazing to win 3-0, let alone win one game over there is always a challenge. But I think the way we kind of went about our cricket was probably the most pleasing thing. Everyone kind of chipped in, we had to fight in different ways. So 3 different surfaces, and we managed to get the job done on all 3. So it was very special.
It was such a complete performance. You're absolutely right. Yeah. From Rashin to Will Young to HS Patel to yourself to Tim Southee. I mean, everybody weighed in. Is that essentially how you're going to go about things for this Test series against England? Everybody knows their roles, and it's just down to everyone playing their brand of cricket.
Yeah, I think it's always important to play the cricket that's in front of you, and I think that's something we talked about when we went to India was things will look different here, roles will look different, and I think it's about adapting. So I think as a group that's something we did really well over there, and understanding small contributions at different times actually had a big impact on the game, and trusting that. And even though you might feel like you're slightly behind the 8 ball, you're actually always in the game, and I think that's probably what we all look to carry on here. It'll be a very different style of cricket. Especially on the surface we've got, playing a completely different team as well, who like to take the game on. So I think there's a lot of confidence we can take from it, and parts of a game plan that we can definitely keep proving forward.
Matt, on the fast bowling front, you've gone from India, your experience, you understand the lengths. Have you had a conversation with the likes of Will O'Rourke, who's going to come and bowl he's going to back home, but the lengths you're going to have to bowl, and also playing against England, who are going to come at you in a different way to what probably India did. India, it's a slow, turgid, game of cricket when you're as a bowler, but here, different lengths for there, but also England aren't going to be coming and blocking like what India did.
No, you're right. I think the key thing is, as a young quick, you've grown up in these conditions. This is Will's home, where he plays his home cricket here for Canterbury. He's from Auckland, but he's a Cantab now, and I think he'll slot in quick. He's a smart operator, and he'll adjust his length. And I think that's the beauty of War as well, the way he's so tall and the bounce that he extracts. So I think he'll adapt, and I know he'll be. There'll be different challenges. I'm sure when you enter international cricket and people don't really know much about you have that element of surprise, and I'm sure that England will come here with more tactics. But he's a classy bowler, and the way he's operated not only in domestic cricket but how he started international career, I've no doubts in my mind at all that he'll come up good.
He spoke to the groundsman, because they've got 3 grounds. Hopefully, I think if I was a fast bowler and it was my home patch, looking at the way this England side play, I'd want something to move sideways, but through the air or off the surfaces, because England seem to have. They've had troubles in the last 12 months when the ball's been moving laterally. From a bowling point of view, is that what you want? Is that a must for your bowling attack? That if we can get this ball to move sideways, no matter how hard England come, we'll be in the game.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of playing here at Hagley as well. This is a ground where you like to play it for New Zealand, and I think the key thing probably in New Zealand is bounce. I think it's something that we probably have a lot of, and when we have bounce, that's usually when we can put teams under pressure. And you go to England and they'll have the sideways, the swing and everything like that, but probably not the steep, fast bounce wickets that we have here. And Hagley's a proven fast wicket, so hopefully I'll have to have a chat to the groundies. Hopefully it's fast and bouncy and moving all over the show. But I mean, it's looking like a good wicket, and traditionally it is. It's funny out here, you get fast and bouncy wickets that offer a bit, but they're also fast outfield, so they are boundary grounds, so you can score if you get yourself in.
It's not what you want to hear where England, remember last time we were here, Mount Maunganui, that was a boundary ground, and it was flat, and England got off to a flyer. But I think when you get on something which does a bit, England have had them vulnerabilities. Where do you see your strengths as a bowling unit, yours individually, bowling at this, especially at the top order?
Yeah, well, they've got a great side, and I think they've shown that they're a very dangerous attack. If you look at the top order, they don't leave much anymore. So there's not really rocking into a spell where you can find your length. You've got to be on it from ball one and be really clear on how you're trying to operate and how you're trying to get guys out. You've got to accept that the way Test cricket's been played now is there are more boundaries. People are looking to take the game on and using attack it almost as a defence now against a moving ball. So I think it's just being really clear on how we want to operate, absorb pressure and make sure that you're always trying to think of how we're going to get people out, and you can work backwards from there.
From a bowling point of view, I always feel bowling, I would bowl at this England team, or watching this England team over the last sort of 2 years. Sometimes field positions are more important than lengths that you bowl. So if you get your field in the right place, is that something that you've thought about? Because they do score in unusual areas, but if you stop that, then all of a sudden you think, right, there's a chance here.
Definitely, and I think that's I suppose that mindset is slightly different, and you've got to get a little bit creative. But when Dimmy Mascarenas was our bowling coach, actually, he was really good at talking through like your field plans and everything about how a defensive field can actually be a really attacking option to batsmen, and I think that's something that I'll probably look to take into a lot of my county cricket as well, and then using your field to, I don't think people are happy going at ones and ticking over now. They still want to feel that bat on ball. So finding that balance to apply pressure, and it's going to be different for everyone, and that's the thing about this English side, that they do have different strengths. Just
finally for me, you mentioned that there. I've always believed as a bowler, you've experienced, you've played county cricket, it's like if it goes to LBW, bowled, slip, wicketkeeper, that's more often than enough the mode of dismissal you get in international cricket. So the other 6 fielders are a little bit irrelevant. But against this England team, they're actually not, because, like you said, defensive fields. Is that something you've got to try and get into your inexperienced bowlers to go, hold on, you're actually bowling a good length here. I know you might have a field which doesn't look that, but you're going well. How important is it to stay in the moment?
Yeah, I think that's probably what we touched on and talking about the India series, that ability to adapt and understanding what your role is at the time. It may look like your traditional, have your gaps there, getting people to force through there, or might have your point sweeper out and actually saying, no, like something's building and this is how we're going to apply pressure, because nothing's changed in that sense. If you create pressure for long enough, something will happen. And I think whether people are trying to absorb pressure or whether they're trying to take the game on, I think you're still just trying to find ways to create pressure. It might look different, it might not, but I think it's the ability to make those decisions out there that will probably be the most important one.
And Matt, finally, this will be the final hurrah for Tim Southee, who's been ever present in your career. He actually made his debut against England back in 2008 in one of Harmy's final series. But he's been such a wonderful player for New Zealand. I mean, his wicket-taking record is second only to Sir Richard Hagley. I mean, that says it all, really. But what kind of a figure are you about to lose within the dressing room and on the field? Yeah,
I think when you look at Tim and what he's achieved throughout his career, he's the ability to, I suppose, find ways, not only in the game but actually to stay on the park. I think as a fast bowler, to be able to play that much Test cricket over 100 games is a hell of an effort, and I think that's testament to Tim and how he operates. And I think he does a lot of the ugly work. Sometimes you see all the special spells, but it is a bowling group, and sometimes you actually need to be able to absorb pressure, and he's one of those guys that's always walked towards the tough overs or the tough periods of play, and I think that's something that probably gets overlooked and something we'll definitely miss. But his experience, the way he operates, it would be a big loss for this group, and I think it's just I suppose not looking at it like that, but it's kind of a series to celebrate what's been a fantastic career, and I think we're all looking forward to enjoying this 3 Test match series against England, which, like you said, this is where he started as well a long time ago. And a few of these young guys in our bowling attack, like War and stuff like that, to be able to I suppose build these relationships with players like Tim and play, it's pretty cool to be a part of. And he's been a big part of my career. We've bowled a lot together as well, and I think it's definitely something to celebrate.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thanks for joining us, and win the toss and bowl, yeah?
Hopefully it's fast, bouncy and does everything like you're saying.
Heard it here first.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.